Hello everybody, this is Doug Davison with Smiteworks. I'm going to show off the Fallout Gamemaster's Toolkit today that we have for the Fallout 2D20 rule set. Maybe just kind of highlight a few things within the Fallout rule set as well. So without further ado, I've got this module loaded along with the Fallout 2D20 core rulebook that comes with the rule set. Here's another adventure module that we're going to be releasing very shortly. So for now I'm going to focus on the Fallout Gamemaster's Toolkit, and we have, as you can see here, we've got a couple of encounters. A lot of the encounters are actually random encounters, and when I look at random encounters, one of the things that's here is, it'll have different numbers of them that will appear. For instance, feral ghouls, or let's say I've got a few of these here, where there could be a different number of things that would show up. And what happens is when you generate these, each of these are linked in to the NPC that are all fully filled out with all of the content here, with the description, and then also with loot that you can loot after the fact. So it has like the pipe gun here, for instance, the Raider, the road leathers, tire iron, all of that sort of stuff. But when you generate this encounter, because it's random, see this time it only generated 2 Raiders. Here it generated a Raider Psycho and a Scaver. And each time you do it, it'll get a different number. You could always go through and modify the result of this by unlocking it and say, okay, I don't want that many people, or I want to add some more stuff. But it just gives you a little flexibility there, and then you can change whether or not they're going to be friendly, neutral, or hostile. So that when you basically, let's say if I wanted this to be the encounter that I run, I would just click the button here, and it would add them into my combat tracker here. I think I've got a couple other things in here from before too, but it will add them in with their hit points and all of their various stats and so forth. So let me go ahead and clear this out. Delete. Oh, no, okay. So that is basically the random encounters. Let me show you some of the other things that are here that are random. You've got the images from the book, which there's only a couple images, which is the skyline and then the Boston environment. So let me just show you real quickly. That's showing up in the reference manual here. You can very quickly just kind of scan through and see what's included here. There's a bunch of different sections on terrain. Each of these are just basically readable sections that you can also pop out, and then you could then share that to chat here for the players to read, whenever you reach that portion if you want. There's a whole section on scavenging and looting, and so it tells you how to do that sort of stuff here, and then it tells you what you roll on each one of these charts depending on where you are. So the way that those are set up, you'll see that here there's a bunch of different categories. So if you're going to scavenge for a tiny residential or a tiny commercial, you might open that up and it's going to roll on these charts for you automatically. And you just hit the parcels. Here I'm doing a tiny one, so it's going to be just a handful of items. And you'll see it's going to basically generate a random set of loot that I may potentially find. Now there are rules in here about how picked over that particular location might already be. So you might need to adjust this and drop some items off if it's an area that's been commonly traversed by other people and scavengers and so forth over time, versus something that was maybe hidden away and maybe has lasted since the original war. So here each of those, so it's got shotgun shells. That was a random ammunition that I rolled up, and then it rolled the number, some junk, Institute food packet, which you could drag and drop this right to the players. The nice thing is that basically, if this is what the players found, you could go right into the party sheet, and then you would go to their inventory here, and you could just drag that in, and now they've got that items that they can then transfer to each other. If you have players there, you would just type in who's going to assign it to you, or you could drag and drop from here, or the players could do that themselves. And then if the players logged in, you can check and see what their inventory is here, or just open up their character sheet. If they decide to sell that, let's say they go to 25%, and they're going to sell that to a vendor, then you could transfer it. It'll all go to caps automatically based off the value of the items. So that's an example of a smaller one. Let's show you just very quickly a larger item, like maybe a military or like a large military. So this is the maximum item. It's going to roll multiple times on this table, and you'll see that it'll start to fill it in as it goes. So obviously this is rolling on a lot of different tables. You can kind of see in the background here if I slide this over. These are all the tables that are automatically in the core rulebook. And you could do these all manually yourself by kind of rolling on these tables, but this is just a nice, convenient way for that to do that for you automatically. If I hide this, you see it's just continuing to fill this whole area out. So lots of great stuff that it's filling in. And you'll see here it rolled medium dog armor multiple times and it just accumulated that total for me. The same thing if I happen to roll ammunition multiple times and it ends up being the same type of ammunition, I may end up with, in this case, you just saw the 38 rounds increased because I found multiple sets of ammunition for that particular caliber. Alright, I think it's maybe getting close to being done. And the nice thing about this particular thing is that if you look into the notes here, it has more details about how well it's been searched. So here you would want to pare that down potentially if this has already been mostly searched or heavily searched. You may reduce the number of items that came up here. But this gives you a starting point to work from. And again, everything is going to be pre-linked, so when they drag this in for the 38 round, it'll be directly on the character sheet automatically. Same thing for the hides. It has the location that's going to be affected with physical damage resistance and so forth. Let me show you what that looks like very quickly and how you would apply that. So if I have a character, let me just create a new character here, start a new character. I'll just very quickly grab maybe a survivor, grab the special, and I'll just kind of increase, let's see, some strength, perception, drop my luck down, agility, and maybe intelligence 6. Alright, under skills here, I'll just tag maybe, I don't know, small weapons, small guns, and survival, and let's see, maybe barter. Alright, so I've got a few things here, and then I'll just kind of go through and fill in the rest. Maybe I got a mix of different things that I can do. And speech, survival, small guns, science, a couple unarmed here, throwing, maybe one sneak. Okay, so I got that all set. I'll grab my perks. Here it shows you, you can hover over, it tells you what your requirements are, or you can click on it to see what the results, or sorry, what the description of that particular item is. Let's grab tag, there, give me another tag skill, maybe rifleman. Yeah, I'll grab this one. Alright, so I'll grab that one. I'm complete. Just give them a name here. Alright, so now that I'm complete, if I go to my inventory, let me actually go back to here real quick. So the origin is survivor. So you see if I open up the survivor, it tells me all of these other things that I have. So I can drag these things over here and say, okay, I've got to have maybe on a small frame or something like that. Now I've got that linked in. The other thing that it has equipment packs. So you decide when you start your character, are you a mercenary raider or whatever. So let's say if I started out as a mercenary, I would drag that over there. And now it says, okay, well, what kind of ammo do you want? Let's do 10mm rounds. And I'll start off with a baseball bat. And obviously, instead of 10mm, I'll start off with the auto pistol. And now here I can choose maybe a chest piece. And that's all set. So now I can, if I look at my combat tab, my armor, damage resistance, and energy and radiation and so forth is not reflected here because I don't have this item equipped. So I'll equip my item here. It's carried, now it's equipped. Same thing with my pipe gun, I'm going to equip that. That basically adds it to this list here, and you'll see that I've got torso armor here. So now I'm going to go ahead and add my tough clothing, and I'll do my baseball bat, my auto 10mm pistol, and let's see what else I can do. Alright, so now let's see if this was in the inventory. So let's go to my party sheet. Let's say that the overseer said, oh, you've scavenged this entire large military complex. Drop those all in there. then at one point I can either drag something from here, so I can drag a stim pack over. Now I found that, it's removed it from my party sheet. Or I could say I've got, let's see, is there any more armor here? Harness, a lab coat. I'm not a dog, so maybe I could do Alt-Tech security armor. Let's see, that looks like that's pretty decent. So let's say I found this awesome item. I'll drag it over there. I can equip that one then, and now you can see I've got this equipment. So here you can tell, okay, you can't have all these things together. So what you could do is you could basically just remove those items that you don't want or unequip them basically by saying, okay, well, I've got maybe my leather armor chest piece no longer applies, but my tough clothing and my security armor does. Then here you'll see that it adjusts my stats here. And then now I'm ready to go. This automatically factors in your target number. When you roll your 2d20, automatically records how much successes you have and so forth. So yeah, there you go. And then when you do your attacks and damage, you'll damage it onto people. The GM will actually go through, and I'll have a different video showing that. They will be able to basically target different locations, hit locations as well, or it can randomly do it by targeting, you know, here or whatever before I make my attack against the target. So that's a real quick run by. Let me see what else is in the module. That's mostly it. The Gamemaster's Toolkit doesn't have a whole lot of stuff as far as the actual reference manual, although it does have on some of the tables here. Let me get into one other area here. So there's one whole other section under random encounters that are pretty cool. So there's an encounter table here, and this will just go to chat and show this off. So there's ordinary encounters, object encounters, campsite, etc. And here it actually tells you to chat, you know, what the information is. If you don't want to go to chat, you want to kind of preview it in advance, you can switch it to story mode. Now if I roll, it'll create a new story here, and it'll tell me what it is. Oh, there's a traveling merchant. So now I click on traveling merchant, and I see that I've got an NPC Wastelander and their guard that I can now reference. Let's see if I will make another one of those. Let's roll here. This one is a minefield, and it tells you what that means. You can click on it here, and then also if they happen to disarm the mine, then you've got a parcel that you can drag those frag mines again to the party sheet and kind of go. So there's a lot of actual tables that are really just loaded up. The Gamemaster's Toolkit is full of all of these tables. And these have all been preloaded in with all kinds of great content. Most of it's very short, so like for instance the Super Mutants one is oh, that's the encounter. But there's actually like a story section too, which talks about you know, what the encounter would be with that particular faction. I think Super Mutants here. Yeah. So yeah, lots of cool stuff. So check it out. Hopefully you like it. If you have any questions, just hit us up on the forums under the Fallout 2D20 section of the forum. Thanks for watching.